Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Will, your guide down the road to strong. Today's video, I'm just going to go over why you should be trying to live like an athlete. Living like an athlete has its advantages and disadvantages, quite frankly. Let's go over some of the disadvantages first of living like an athlete. And having lived like an athlete for most of my life, I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about some of these things. So some of the downsides of living like an athlete is knowing that you're going to be spending a lot of time doing things that you're going to have moments where you're not going to want to do them. As an athlete, you can count. You can't count it. That's really the issue with it, right? As an athlete, you know that you couldn't try to count the amount of days that you wish you could have stayed in bed until noon, but you didn't, and because you had to wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning to go and do something, to go work out, to go train, with your team or by yourself, depending on what sport or event you're training for. Another drawback is I just had it in my head. Now I'm lost. I can't remember it. Right, with the whole time prospect, you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities with friends and family for the sake of whatever it is that you're training for. If one of your buddies is having a party, a get together, but you know that you gotta hit the gym or the track or the swimming pool or the mat or the boxing ring, wherever, to get where you want to be, that's missed out time with those people. I think another downside is, of course, injury, soreness and injury. Living like an athlete means having to face facts that what you're doing is not inherently safe. There's always a risk. There's always a risk in life. And training, living like an athlete, exposes you to the risk of injury more so than, doing something else. But with some of those things being said, what are some of the upsides to living like an athlete? While injury is a possibility, if you're smart about it and you're patient, I think patience is one of the most underrated qualities in athletics. Everyone wants to be, if you're really, really an athlete, you want to be the best that you can be. You want to be the best. If you're on a team, you want to be on the best team. You want to be doing the best. If it's an individual sport, you want to be the best. You want to be the best boxer, the best sprinter, the best swimmer, the best jumper. You want to be the best, and that means some kind of time frame. Most likely you have to train for an event, so time is ticking down from that event, right? I'm powerlifting now. I do about 3 meets a year, and that means I only have so many months every year. Time is ticking. I need to get that work in. And when you're in school, that time limit is really crushing, because you recognize, man, I don't have forever to be doing this. College track and field, I only had 5 years, and 4 of those years with the team, 1 of those years is on my own, also known as redshirting. And it's very crushing. It's very pressing to know, man, I have a time limit. I have to be the best that I can be within this time limit. And patience, as important as it is, also means not trying as much as you think you could. You'll look back and you'll go, well, I could have tried a little bit harder if you were too patient. So it's a very hard balance. But patience, if you're not competing in something, at least not competitively, like if you're in a competitive sport where you're trying to beat other people, okay, fine, but you should really be thinking about it in terms of, did you do better than you did last time, right? Patience is very important. So living like an athlete, if you have patience, I think you can handle it. But But I think one of the bigger upsides to this, and this came from a conversation I had with someone who's not an athlete. I was trying to, I guess the nicest way of saying it is educate. I was trying to educate them on posture and why strength training is so important for good posture. And it doesn't take much for you to see why it's important for you to have good posture. Just look at your elderly. You know how much I cringe going through New York City to and from work, and I see elderly people every day, everywhere. They're hunched over. Some of these people walk horizontally from their hips, and I mean, why? It's because they've had bad posture and they've been reinforcing the poor posture, and it gets worse and worse. And they say, but trying to stand up straight hurts. And it's like, well, of course it hurts. You're not working the muscles that would otherwise be strong enough to pull you up, so the muscles hurt. And so I tried to throw them towards one of my favorite YouTubers, Elliot Hulse, who has spoken so strongly about the importance of posture. All the years that I've watched him from college, some 4 or 5 years ago, it seems like every other video he is talking about posture and why you need to have good posture. He talks about carrying yourself with confidence, chest up, shoulders back, head straight, not chin tucked and not all the way up in the air, but just straight. Posture is key to everything. Health, physique, personality. Someone who carries themselves well is gonna have pretty good posture, and they're gonna look okay. I'm looking at a guy right now on the sidewalk, and he's like a turtle. Posture is extremely important, and as an athlete, you'll learn this. You will learn that posture is extremely important. If you have good strength and conditioning coaches, they will give you the work to enforce good posture, because posture is what's going to make you healthy for the rest of your life. And that's the biggest upside to living like an athlete. You will come to understand that everything that you do needs to be a foundation to continue forward in a healthy and sustainable manner. If I want to be a powerlifter the rest of my life, I don't. That's not what I plan on, but let's just say I want to be a powerlifter the rest of my life. Posture is going to be really important. Patience is going to be really important. Because a lot of powerlifters, they get really heavy, really strong, really fast with their weights, and the next thing you know, they're getting hit with injuries. They're getting bicep tears or rotator cuff tears. You get later on in life and you have knee problems or hip problems because you squatted and your hips were misaligned, and that you're causing all kinds of bone and ligament damage. And that stuff doesn't bounce back like a regular muscle would. If you have a muscular imbalance, you can fix that over time with persistence, but skeletal and ligaments, that stuff is really, really hard, really rough. Live like an athlete. I think the pros outweigh the risks. If you live in such a way that is sustainable and you can be healthy for years to come, I think that's a huge win. How many of your friends and family and relatives do you know who live now in constant pain? Probably because they had poor posture, probably because they have weaknesses, probably because they've never lived like an athlete, or if they have, they were never taught how to do it appropriately. Old guys that said they did football back when they were young, and now they have knee and hip problems and issues. I don't know how many guys I know who come to me when I'm bench pressing and they go, man, yeah, I used to bench press all the time and now I fucked up my shoulders and I can't bench press. Right? The road to becoming stronger, to being strong, it's not through content. It's not through being impatient. It's not through not being smart about what you're doing. You have to be all these things. So, with that being said, I just wanted to talk about that. Live like an athlete. Have a goal. Have a dream. Have a passion. Work hard towards those dreams and passions. Work intelligently towards those passions. If you want to be doing the things that you're doing now, 30 years from now, or you have no idea what you want to be doing now, but you feel like when you're older, you'd like to be able to do things, live like an athlete. Create a foundation that you can forever build upon. Okay? That's it. I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but I think that's about it, all right? Like and subscribe. I just started an Instagram account. I'll have a link somewhere in the video, probably above my head, because there's always a lot of room up there, as well as links to my Facebook and I don't know, maybe my Photocracy page. I don't know. If you're on Photocracy, great. I'm on Photocracy. Not really a platform for self-exposure, but it's a fun site nonetheless. All right. So hope you appreciate the message I'm trying to get across to you. I appreciate you listening. Peace.